What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and oh, you just hate to see it. I know you've already looked at the title and you've hit that like button and you've decided that the title is good enough to finally earn your subscription, and you've clicked that little red subscribe button below because, oh, you just hate to see it. Disney getting absolutely obliterated on their Mulan investment, and the ripple effect that this is going to cause for movies like Black Widow are staggering. Now, Disney, as you know, I wouldn't have cared. Here's the thing: a lot of people, they don't. Why do you like Jeremy? Why don't you like Mulan? Look, I nothing Mulan. It's not a movie I remember watching as a kid. I absolutely loathe live action remakes. So it just was never going to be for me. But the movie could have come out and been fine and probably made $400 million or whatever. Whatever. It would have been a non-story. But then the main actress opened her mouth and supported the oppression of Hong Kong. And then Disney bent the knee to the CCP and removed beloved characters like Mushu. Then Disney literally thanked the organization in charge of spreading propaganda around their internment camps, their re-education camps of 1 million Uyghur Muslims. And I've enjoyed every single bit of its failure. And on top of all of that, if this movie would have come out and been $30 on top of a Disney Plus subscription, that would have been enough of an outrage. $20 for VOD, they call it a premium video on demand. Oh, premium. $20 for premium video on demand is already too much. All right, you don't own it. You got a 24-hour window to watch it, and then it's gone. And anybody paying $30 for Mulan to watch it now, when you get it for free in December, you must be really bored. Seriously, if you're like considering spending $30 on watching Mulan, please, the comment section down below, fill it with good movie recommendations you can rent on like Amazon Prime for $1. There's so many great movies that are underappreciated. How about Bone Tomahawk? You could watch that. Or his other movie, Cell Block. Well, the director, his other movie. Anyway, China hates it, but it has nothing to do with politics. In fact, it turns out that the movie's just bad. The poor reception means that the $200 million Disney blockbuster will gain little traction in its most critical territory. You mean the territory Disney only cared about when they made this film? One of the only major markets where otherwise straight to Disney Plus title will see a theatrical release, Mulan is currently forecasted by Data Tracker in China to gross just $38.5 million, less than a tenth of the $437 million projected total for a local film called The 800. Mulan currently has rates low, but not egregious, at a 7.5 and a 7.6 out of 10 on the Maoin Tao Pia Pio ticketing platform, respectively. There are many that gushed over the thrill of seeing Disney tell a Chinese story on such a scale, and were pleased with the message of female empowerment. But it wasn't a message of female empowerment. It was like, here's a woman, here's some magical superpowers that you didn't earn, Mary Sue, and go do your thing. It still has Disney magic, but it tells a Chinese tale, wrote a reviewer who gave it a 10. This Mulan stays true to herself, develops her abilities, and doesn't bow to outside pressure. The Americans invited all the famous Chinese actors they could think of and piled it all together in Chinese elements that they could to create this car crash, reads one of the most popular reviews. It's full of Western stereotypes, conjectures about China, and particularly ancient China. Numerous viewers across the platform slammed the new film as being far worse than any other blockbuster that tried and failed to work on both sides of the Pacific. Even, quote, The Great Wall, which was largely panned, is better than this, one wrote. After watching Mulan, I want to apologize to the Great Wall director. The most fundamental flaw most felt was that Disney's new heroine starts out from childhood already equipped with superhero-like abilities, thanks to her extraordinary reserves of chi, or ki, the force that she cultivates to and controls to excel as a fighter. Oh, based China doesn't like Mary Sue's? Shocking. Turning her into superhero removes Mulan's every woman appeal and leaves her with no room to grow as a character, huge swaths of the Chinese viewers said. It feels like this Mulan was born with an eight-pack abs, one wrote. She has no shortcomings, and even small shortcomings can be overcome immediately. She's lost the complexity of an animated version of the character, who is both a cute little girl and a powerful hero. She has no process of gradual growth. Yes, that is a Mary Sue. And while Chinese viewers are familiar with the concept, they were baffled by Disney's take on the vital energy traditionally considered to underlie the practice of Chinese medicine and martial arts, asking, what exactly is qi here? What even is a difference between qi and not qi? Oh. Like other global audiences, mainlanders also felt frustrated with the plot holes, missing character motivations, calling the storyline simply inexplicable. In particular, there seems confusion has stopped Gong Li seemingly. Oh, I won't talk about that. I want to spoil it for people. There's one that, surprisingly, perhaps many viewers have nostalgia-tinged fondness of China for Disney's 1998 animation. A good number bemoan the loss of the animated film songs, humor, and the dragon character Mushu. Who would have foreseen this? The special effects were embarrassing. Everything's from too old. One reviewer said the script's constant repetition of the terms loyal, brave, and true felt like a Google Translate take on Chinese. The whole film is just a shouting of empty slogans. Where are these qualities even reflected in the film, he asked, questioning the logic, for instance, of why Mulan simply throws away all of her protective armor in the middle of battle. The choice is obviously nonsensical, but it's also highly unfilial, since the garb is a treasured heirloom from her father. Fail. Epic fail. Mulan's 2020 box office explained. Was it a success? Well, let's take a look. Disney's live-action Mulan premiered on Disney Plus to mixed reviews and a 68% increase in subscribers for the streaming service. Now, remember, there is long-tail revenue that's tied to these new subscriptions. It's unlikely there are many people that paid the $8 for Disney Plus, then the $30 for Mulan, and then immediately canceled. That would have been similar to paying $40 for Disney Plus. So Disney announced Mulan would premiere exclusively on the streaming service in September. Unlike other Disney Plus exclusive releases such as Lady and the Tramp and Artemis Fowl, Mulan would only be available to subscribers who paid $30 for premiere access to the film. Now, Disney reported a 68% increase in Disney Plus downloads in anticipation of the movie's release. In addition, subscribers spent 193% more time on Disney Plus app, largely due to the fee required to watch Mulan. Despite the subscriber increase, Mulan suffered from a lack of traditional box office release and had a disappointing opening weekend in China. In addition, Mulan underperformed in comparison with other high-profile Disney Plus releases like Hamilton, which saw a 74% increase in Disney Plus subscribers ahead of its premiere. It's difficult to say if Mulan was a box office success for Disney or a failure. Oh no, you'll see, it's a disaster. Like much of the Mulan live-action remake Dumbo, which premiered in 2019 to a disappointing box office of $45 million domestically, despite mixed reviews and the controversies surrounding the movie, Mulan seems to have been successful for Disney Plus, although it has one of the most disappointing box offices of Disney's live-action remakes. While Mulan will likely not make back its $200 million plus budget, which means $400 million. Remember, they usually spend the budget for the film, and then they double it. That's the common. It might be more. It might be less, but that's what the industry uses, so we'll stick with that. Mulan looks like a failure on paper, but was it a success for Disney+? Well, Mulan made a total of $35.5 million in its opening weekend from Disney Plus subscribers. $35 million. Since the movie wasn't released in theaters, the $35.5 million is entirely net profit for Disney, who didn't have to pay any distribution fees by hosting it on their streaming platform. 35 million bucks. That's it. $35 million. Disney had hoped Mulan's release in China would make up for the distribution issues in the US market. The film had a disappointing opening weekend and only made $23.2 million bucks at the Chinese office. Compared to Disney's other live-action remakes, Mulan was a significant failure internationally. Beauty and the Beast made $85 million, Jungle Book made $55 million. Again, to be fair, there is an issue kind of going on that keeps people out of theaters. But Tenet, for example, still had a $50 million opening weekend, which probably would have been $100 million if not for the lockdowns and people just not wanting to risk going to theaters. So you had $30 million from Disney Plus, or $32 million, right? Is that what it was? 35.5 net profit. All right. Then the Chinese the box office, another 35. So that's $75 million all in. Now, half of that other $35 million goes to theaters and distribution, and they split that money, stuff like that. So let's just say it's $50 million total. $50 million on a film that cost $200 million, and you paid another $200 million to distribute. Now, there will be long tail revenue from everyone that signed up to Disney Plus. Will it make up what? $350 million? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Although Mulan will be available for free, by the way, in December, which is only 3 months away, it still made $35.5 million in net profits. It's not a net profit because you already invested $400 million. While the disappointing Chinese box office was another hit to Mulan, its success on Disney Plus proved that Disney was right to shift the premiere to the streaming service. This person doesn't understand basic economics. Like, I'd hate to see who balances their checkbook. You're talking about first of all, $35 million in net sales on Disney Plus is not 100% profit. There's all sorts of fees and transaction fees that go in, and server costs and data costs and costs for your overhead. It's absolutely not just straight profit. That's obviously, like, I'm not an accountant, but anybody should know that, all right? There's costs to running a business. There's overhead. There's fixed costs. So just because Mulan made gross $35 million on Disney Plus does not mean it made $35 million on Disney Plus. Now, granted, the cost of overhead is probably significantly less than a theatrical distribution, but maybe that's still only $30 million. And then you only made $30 million in the box office. Let's say you top out at $100 million globally. And $50 million on Disney Plus. You're still gonna lose $150 to $250 million on this film. Get woke, go broke. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.